Today's a great victory. It's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system. You saw that the Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all that they had. They're not stopping, but one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that is a jury of 12 citizens. And we had a wonderful jury. They listened to every word, and they got the situation right, or certainly right enough.
All right. It was a big win for Sean Diddy Combs. He won his trial, but there were still convictions. And now he's made a motion for an acquittal or a new trial. Let's take a look at some of the arguments they're making now. Mr. Combs stands convicted of 2 prostitution counts under the Mann Act. To our knowledge, Mr. Combs is the only person ever convicted of violating the statute for conduct anything like this. It is undisputed that he had no commercial motive and that all involved were adults. Okay, they're saying he made no money from the prostitution, didn't have sex with the alleged prostitutes, didn't arrange the transportation with the intent of committing sexual assault, sex trafficking, or a sex crime involving a minor. Indeed, he's also arguing that he sits in jail on evidence that he paid adult male escorts and entertainers who engaged in consensual sexual activities with his former girlfriends, which he videotaped and later watched with the girlfriends. That is not prostitution. And if it is, his conviction is unconstitutional. The court should grant an acquittal or at a minimum a new trial on the Mann Act counts alone. Let's bring back in our think tank. What do they think about this? David Schnipper, Eklund Mercy, Scott Friedman. Scott, it was a win at trial, but there are still these outstanding charges that he was convicted of. Do they have any legs to these arguments that he is the only one being convicted of this, the Mann Act, under these particular circumstances? And even if he is the only one, is that a basis to have the charges dismissed or overturned?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a basis, Finney, but it's a creative argument for sure. I mean, I read through this earlier today getting prepared, and you know, it's one of those, the Mann Act I heard has been around since the early 1900s and, you know, has been used many times against those who profit from prostitution, which clearly they think he did not. And so I think it's a very creative act. Will it win the day? I don't know. I think this judge, by denying bail after the first verdict, is probably not going to entertain something to his benefit necessarily. But we'll see. I mean, it's creative, and you know, $50 million bond with lots of restrictions is also something that the court needs to consider whenever they have a hearing.
Yeah, well, that's the other motion, right? The motion for bond. Combs will sign a $50 million bond secured by his home in Miami. Wow, that's some home, right? The bond will be co-signed by 3 financially responsible people. He'll stay in Miami. He'll limit his travel to court in Florida or coming to New York to see his attorneys. What do you think here, David Schnipper? Is he being treated fairly by our system based upon what he's been convicted of, right? Because he was found not guilty of the other charges. We know the conduct is awful, but is he being treated fairly at this point?
I think he's being treated very fairly. Look, I've always said it's not about culture, race, religion, whatever. It's about money. All right, Sean Combs can afford the most elite, experienced, competent, aggressive litigation team, which he has put in place. And look, at the end of the day, he's been incarcerated since September of 2024. He served about a year. My research says that he's going to get, if things stay the same, which I think that they will. Scott was right, it's a creative argument, but the jury has spoken. He's probably going to spend about 21 to 27 months total. And at the end of the day, after his sentencing, which I think is in October, he's probably only spent about 9 to 15 more months in jail. So, you know, if his attorney's creative argument doesn't work, it's not like he's going to be in jail for that much longer. He's 55 years old. He's still a very wealthy individual. He has his whole life to live. But yeah, I think he's been treated very fairly, and he has the means to have the best representation. And the Mann Act is great.
Who's the victim? Who's the victim in that case? Who are the victims in his Mann Act case? Is it the male prostitutes who he flew in and had sex with his girlfriends? Are they the victims?
I think that everybody that they feel that I think that they use this power to kind of force them there. The male prostitutes, the women involved. I think probably mostly it's probably the women involved is my guess. I mean, I'm not on the jury, but I mean, the Mann Act for any immoral purpose is very, very kind of vague and ambiguous. We don't have to like all the laws. There's plenty of laws that I don't think that is fair. I particularly don't think the Mann Act is that fair. It was last amended in 1986. Probably needs to be looked at again, where they acted for any immoral purpose, and that's why he was convicted.
Eklund Mercy, who are the victims?
In this case?
Who's that?
Or with regards to the Mann?
Under the Mann Act, who are the victims? What he was actually convicted of? Is it the male prostitutes who were paid and consensually got on the plane and flew to have sex with his girlfriends? Are they the victims in all of this?
Well, statutes like the Mann Act, it's those types of laws the victims are society. So when they do something like immoral behavior that like grand sweeping phrase like immoral behavior, it's things that society, like it really grows with society. Things that, may not have been immoral before are moral now. So I think that it's one of those catch-all type laws. And I don't know if an argument being that you're setting precedent is enough for an appeal. So I'm not sure about that. However, I do have an opinion with regards to the sentencing.
Yes, go ahead.
I mean, I could be, I think that, I don't know, I think it's worse that he got out, because can you imagine somebody with his presence, somebody who's been up top, somebody who has been dapping up Oprah, and now suddenly, right, everybody knows your business, everybody has heard things, everybody has jokes about things. It's more, and then it's even worse. At the very least, if he was in prison, there would be more. But now he's going to be out, and he's going to be, it's
we are out of time, Eklund.
It's going to be weird.
I hate cutting off Eklund Mercy, but we're out of time. Thank you so much, David Schnipper, Scott Freeman. Appreciate it. We'll see you again real soon.